Welcome, everyone. Fantastic to see so many people tune in from around the world. I'm Edwin Weijdema. I'm the field CTO for EMEA within Veeam, and I'm also an explorer for 30 plus years. Today is already the 6th show for the Veeam 100, a community-driven show with guests from our excellent Veeam 100 community, vanguards, legends, and MVP, all technical champions. We will discuss how you can create an unbreakable Veeam Backup Fabric. And I'm honored and blessed to have two special guests with me from Belgium, who will share their knowledge in creating such fabrics with all of us. So welcome to the show, Didier Van Hoye and Nico Losschaert. DJ, good to see you. Nico, fantastic to see you online.
Thank you.
DJ, can you please introduce yourself to the audience?
So my name is Didier Van Hoye. On the internet, I'm better known as working hard in IT. Should have been working smart in IT, I know, but that's the name I chose back then. I've been working in IT a very long time, and I've specialized in high availability, infrastructure, networking, storage, hypervisors, and as such, of course, also data protection, backup, hence Veeam, of course. Yeah.
Nico, also welcome to the show. Can you also please introduce yourself to the audience worldwide?
Thanks, Edwin, for having me in this spectacular show. My name is Nico Losschaert, and I work as an infrastructure consultant and architect at Orbit. Orbit is an IT company active in Belgium, especially in the SMB market. My specialties are virtualization, storage, and of course with the main focus on backup and disaster recovery. And within the company, I'm the technical responsible in that area and being the Veeam product owner.
Great, guys. I always love going to Belgium, especially when I get an invite. Belgium is known for a lot of things, but normally I will go for the beer and the chocolate. Beer for myself, chocolate for my family to bring home, of course. But if you really look to Belgium is much more than just beer and chocolate, right? So if you look through the country, it's rich of culture, innovation, and we're also going to talk about innovation later on, but just focusing a little bit on Belgium itself. Nico, if I can ask you, what would you just say about Belgium, what people should know?
Yes, Edwin, for sure. Well, the French fries, as many people call them, are not invented in France, but in Belgium. Inhabitants in a certain region in the 17th century were used to fish in a river, and afterwards they fried it, those small fishes, and they caught in oil. However, it was risky to fish during period of frosts, and as an alternative, the residents cut potatoes into the shape of those small fishes, which they then immediately fried in the oil. At that point, the current fries, as we know of today, are started. So, if you're in Belgium, you definitely have to taste Belgian fries together with Flemish stew and mayonnaise. My mouth is already watering when I talk about it. Do you agree on that, DJ and Edwin?
I would.
Yeah.
Yep.
I must say I learned something already today. So that's good.
Oh,
okay. I like to eat those, but yeah, I didn't know where the origin was coming from. I still thought it was France, but it isn't. It's Belgium, right?
No. Yeah.
So, DJ, do you have anything to add what people might not know, and it's a must-see do experience?
Yeah, Nico is putting us on the spot here because it's going to be about food as well. So you've got the beer, you've got the chocolate, you've got the French fries, right? But the thing that I've learned over the years by traveling and working with a lot of people from all over the globe is one thing that Belgium has and that almost no other country has is a wealth in choice when it comes to bread. We've got so many tastes and varieties and choice in bread, and everybody that has been living in Belgium from abroad tells me you can't find it anywhere in the world, and I haven't found it anywhere else either. So it's something, if you are in Belgium, just walk into some bakeries and gaze at the choice you have in breads and the types of bread. And if you start thinking about it, it's absolutely amazing the choice we have. And it must say something about our Burgundic nature that we have that choice in our country.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you for sharing. By the way, if I'm back in Belgium and I meet you guys, I will pay for dinner, but you will pick the place now.
We'll figure it out.
Oh, that will be good. Yeah, sharing the experience. You both have been part of the Veeam 100 community for several years already. Bumped into you in Prague when there was the Veeam 100 show there. Nico, if I may start with you, what has been your most rewarding moment as part of the Veeam community? And how has it influenced your participation in that Veeam 100 Legends program?
Well, Edwin, my journey started more or less at the beginning of the Veeam Community Hub. I had years ago a conversation with one of my managers, and he asked me then the following: Nico, the sky is the limit. What is your goal professionally in the future? Do you want to become a manager, stay being an expert in certain topics, or do you want to become something else? I answered him then, I would like to become a Veeam reference in Belgium. And he said, within the company, you are already. And if you want to enlarge that, just get out there through the community and social media. So what did I do? I registered and became a member of the Veeam Community Hub. I wrote my first post. It was about the 32110 rule, everyone knows. Well, after a few days, I was mentioned in the weekly recap by Rick Vanover, and at that time, Xenia Svereva. So I started to believe in myself, and new posts followed, and several were again mentioned in those weekly recaps. And after a few months, I got the recognition being a Veeam legend. And since then, this legend, this title, has been renewed every time. So I'm very honored being one of those V100 community members.
Thank you, Nico. Yeah, we are honored that you
No
are in
problem.
that program and that you're doing that contribution, because that's shining to anyone in the community. It's about sharing, right?
Yes.
And if we talk about sharing, DJ, can you share your your most rewarding moment as part of that, or can you share some experience you had? Because you have been part of it also
Yeah.
for several years now. But that's a vanguard, right?
Yep. But it's not just one moment. The most rewarding thing about being an active in the community is always when people reach out to you and let you know that you've actually helped them, that you've actually made a difference. So that's why you share, right? I mean, I remember when I became active in the community at large, not just Veeam or the backup, but the community, IT community at large. And it was, I've been a lurker for decades, so to speak. And then one day I decided I want to start sharing and contributing. And I started doing that. And then I got noticed, and amongst others, I became a Veeam customer. Veeam noticed that, and I became a Veeam Vanguard. And it helps you with exposure, of course. It helps you with meeting even more like-minded and passionate people, and you start sharing. And that's all very fun, and it's also very nice to meet the other Vanguards, the legends, the Veeam employees. But the single most, let's say, exciting thing I always had with the community is when people let you know you've helped us. That made a difference. That blog post, that answer, that chat we had, whether it was at a conference or whatever, that's that moment that you get this, yeah, cool. So nice. You have a global reach. Wherever you are in this world, you have a global reach and you can help somebody. And you probably help a lot more people than you think, because the people that let you know that you've helped them, I think, are the minority. And that's fun. That gives me a little energy boost.
Yeah. Do you also have like an example, someone that reached out to you? But how do they do that? How do you get some feedback there?
Feedback is via Twitter, via responses to the blog, or emails. I always ask people to reply in public, especially if they have a question, because then everybody can read the answer. But sometimes they reach out to you in a mail and they say, oh, really, I found your blog. It's 3 years old, but that was the issue I was facing, and it made a tremendous difference. Because sometimes you have, like, one example is like the little tips and tricks I posted over the years to speed up your backups or whatever, and they find it and they do it, and they're like, oh my God, that was the little missing piece. And that's fun. It's a fun experience to have. It really is a boost to your morale, to your energy to keep doing and keep sharing, because I
can truly cope in that one. we have a topic today, Unbreakable, the Veeam Backup Fabric, but in the Belgium style. You both have been doing, separate from each other, a project about creating like an Unbreakable Veeam Backup Fabric. DJ, can I start with you on that one?
Sure.
Could you give us an overview of the project you're currently involved in and what motivated you to start that?
Well, we've always been interested in very high performant, high available backups, but over the years with the ransomware threat and ever increasing and still increasing, I'm afraid, we became much more aware about the need to make it as resilient as possible to that threat as well. And we were in a bit of a pickle because it was the early days of immutable object storage in the cloud. So the offers there were not that rich and diverse as they are today. But also it was the time that we finally got rid of tapes because of operational overhead and other concerns. And then at that moment, it was like, oops, we are looking back to the past, to tapes, to protect us from ransomware with immutability. How are we going to fix this? So we were really a bit in a pickle because the companies like what Nico is doing today, they weren't around doing that sort of, let's say, advanced stuff already. And then Veeam started talking about a future project of theirs with hardened repositories, immutable storage on premises, and we jumped on that one. So we added that to our what we called the hardened backup fabric. Mm-hmm. We always make sure that we have not a single dependency on whatever we are backing up. So all the rules, in the 32100, different storage, different location, no dependencies networking-wise, DNS-wise on what you are protecting, right? You want to be able to restore your backups even if you lose everything that you are protecting. And what we added to that was the hardened repository, where we went a bit above the call of duty with extending it with things we saw necessary, because one of the challenges was, okay, we don't want to have remote management enabled, we don't want to have SSH enabled, but in some environments that's a very hard ask because not everybody has the luxury of quality, easy to approach hands-on in a data center to do whatever it's needed to be done. So we wanted to protect SSH, and we started deploying MFA for that reason and playing with all the options we had there to make that happen. Right, and that's I wrote blogs on that. How do you set up a hardened repository for people that are new to it? But because a lot of people are scared of the Linux hardened repository, especially if they come from a Microsoft stack, I would say don't be afraid. Just start using it, start playing with it, and you'll get there. I got there, so you can get there. Secondly, I have the articles online to show you how to play with MFA, how to set it up. It's one example. There's multiple examples, but there's a lot of fun stuff to do there. And once you get that working, you can really enhance your protection. And then there's how do you start building a hardened repository? What kind of hardware considerations do you need to make? And that is also documented in another article, and it's all online. It has been there for years. And it's still very much valid today, right? The principles on which they are based are still valid. Right? Even if the Veeam software evolves a bit and becomes a bit easier to handle in some aspects, it is all still much, let's say, relevant to what you're doing today.
Yeah, but you also you sent me something in there, and
yeah.
Jeffrey can switch the screen.
Yeah, that's a play. So basically, we were showcasing to our internal users how can you secure that repository, right? So we actually made sure that they needed the certificates to log into over SSH to the repository, but the certificate wants a password. Once you're there, you need to have a FIDO key with biometrics, with your fingerprint to continue. Once you pass that one, it asks you for your MFA with your smartphone. And once you finally pass that, you have to enter your password. So we were like, look, these are all the capabilities you have. Now pick your choice. You don't have to combine them all, of course. That was just a demo, but it was to show people that it's possible. All those options are available to you, and pick the ones that make sense to you. Right?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. I started laughing when I saw that video because it's like a lock on the lock and then put another lock on it and then MFA.
It is.
But
It is.
it really presents like that Unbreakable. But you have to think about all those mechanics you have out there and combine the right ones without crippling like your population, your employees.
And I also always emphasize play with it in the lab, build it, break it, repair it, get comfortable with it, because the single most thing that I see, whether it's encryption or other ways of securing access or data, is the fear of people that they won't be able to get in again. So
I can talk about that one because the first time I did it, I locked myself out completely, and then I started from scratch again. But it's good. But don't do that in production, guys or girls.
But also know the ways to temporarily bypass it if it's necessary, etc., etc. So get comfortable with those technologies, and then you'll see it isn't as threatening or scary as you think it is. And once you are at that level, you can really start using them to your benefit. So please do so.
Yeah, that's perfect. And also, I always liked and loved to read your blogs about that one because that started to think, because I'm a hacker from in my home world in the evening, in the night, but normally it's during daytime. What triggered me was the whole thing about MFA, and you were one of the first to push MFA on top of it. Even before Veeam introduced MFA for the console, you already had MFA on there.
Because there is actually nothing in our Veeam hardened fabrics, not the VBR server, not the VBR console host. There is nothing that doesn't have MFA. And everybody has a dedicated account for each and every host that's in that environment. So some people think that's over the top, and we are like, no, you are actually protecting the keys to the kingdom. This is your last fail-safe if everything has gone wrong. So there you should accept a little overhead. It's okay.
Yeah, one question that pops to mind then is how did the employees react to it?
Well, the employees don't really have to deal with it, right? The team that has to deal with it is the people that take care of the backups.
Okay.
And I and two of my colleagues, because we tend to be each other's backups, we were the three most affected people, because we had to do everything or fix things that are going wrong. We have to know about repositories. We have to know about the workloads we're protecting. We have to know about storage, networking. So for us, that was the most overhead, but still, we don't have to log into it every day, right? Normally you don't, especially not into the hardened fabric. The Veeam console, well, most people use the Veeam console. If they're a backup operator, they can back up, they can run backups, they can look at backups, they can verify logs, they can restore things, but that's about the scope they have. So they're limited with, oh, I have a dedicated account for the console machine that I have access to, and the firewall says you only have access from those and those IP addresses. So they're in there, they have to use MFA, but it's not like they have to log into 20 different systems, right? It's that one single console system. And if there is an issue on the repository, well, there's only 3 people in the company normally that have that access and that might need to do this. But again, this is not a daily operation. The most important thing is we all have a lab. I have a lab at home that's completely set up like that, and I can play and test with it. So we hardly do anything in production that we haven't broken and fixed already in the lab. You bleed in the lab so you can shine in production, right? Don't do it the other way around. That's a bad idea.
Yeah, there's always a thing. Switching to Nico. Nico, you had but from a different angle. Could you give us a little bit of an overview of the project you ran? About the whole,
of course.
Unbreakable Veeam Backup Fabric.
Yeah, sure. My company was already offering a backup as a service solution for more than 5 years using Veeam Cloud Connect. But it was time to renew the underlying infrastructure. And next to that, we would like to offer a solution, like also Didier also mentioned, that is more secure, more flexible, and easy to scale out. And also my company some years ago was acquired by the Ricoh Group, famous for its printers and multifunctionals. So from that point on, we had a sister company called Upfront, and they were also offering a backup as a service solution using Veeam Cloud Connect that was also ready to be renewed. So they are responsible for the south region of Belgium, and we are responsible for the north region of Belgium. So the management of both companies decided and asked me to design a backup as a service solution for both companies offered as one central solution. So in the meantime, that solution has been designed, approved, and being implemented already.
So we see a schematic on the screen at the moment. Can you walk us through a little bit how they work together and what do customers see and how do your colleagues experience handling like a secure backup fabric there?
Absolutely. So on the first slide, what we see at the left side, we see there we have the customer. In Belgium, not every customer has multiple locations with a direct link between them. They often have just one single headquarters. So to implement that 32110 rule, having an offsite and an immutable or air-gapped backup copy, our backup as a service solution is an ideal solution in those scenarios. So the customer can have a VMware or a Hyper-V infrastructure with running VMs. Next to that, they can have physical servers, workstations, laptops, and even cloud virtual machines. So what will happen? Normally, they will have an on-premise backup already. So what can they do? They can send an encrypted backup or backup copy through the internet to our backup as a service solution at the right side. So as you can see, those backups are landed on data center 1, where we will use already proven block storage. And from the point that those restore points are written to that block storage, they are copied immediately to another data center that is 50 kilometers away from the first data center on object storage. So what will happen? The customer has immutable backups and 2 copies of it. So we are also doing our own 32110 rule for the backups of the customer. We are using it like it would be our regular data. So of course that solution is also Veeam ready. And at the next slide, you can see an overview of the most important key points of that solution. At first, the customer has an offsite backup because it's in our data center. It is also immutable. Restore tests can be performed with the backups residing on the Veeam Cloud Connect side. We are testing that on Azure. The proximity in Belgium is very important, and many customers want to have their data inside of Belgium, not everywhere else. So it is resided in 2 data centers in Belgium. We are using already proven performant block storage, and next to that also the modern immutable object storage. It's a Veeam ready solution. Also, there is an end-to-end encryption during the transport, and the backups itself are also encrypted. Everything is managed and monitored by ourselves, and we are also fully under control by every component. We are not dependent from hyperscalers with egress costs, throttling, whatever. No, we are not doing that. We have everything under control. Every component in the infrastructure is redundant. It's a high performance solution. It's very highly scalable. So if you want to enlarge, it's no problem to scale out. Of course, also we have to be compliant with certain legal requirements like GDPR, NIS2 and so, that is also applicable. And of course, it protects the important backups of the customer against cybercrime. That's the main thing of our solution.
Yeah, looking good, especially when I'm looking through it. It's like a really unbreakable Veeam backup fabric. It's secure. It's built secure by design. Let me say it like that. DJ, you want to add something there?
Yeah, I like it. It's very complete. And I must say that the SMB customers in Belgium have a very nice solution here. Because quite often there are a lot of solutions out there that are let's say, only partially implemented. And this is A to Z. It has it all. And yeah, I like it.
Yeah,
Thank
me
you.
too.
Thank you, Didier.
You're welcome. That's not because I've met you before, but really, I've spoken to a lot of people that offer backups, and it's quite a bit of a frustrating talk because you have to drag the information out of them. Do you have it? Do you have it? Or don't you have it? And if you don't get an answer quickly, normally the answer is no. And here, right out of the bat, you come up with a checklist that meets most questions that we might have from a backup provider. Can you deliver this? Especially where was it? Somewhere restore tests can be performed.
Yes,
so that's
because
also
it's
nice.
important also to have that zero being implemented for the backups that are resided at our site.
Yep. Nico, looking through that list, when you did this project, what insights have you gained from working on this project that could help others that are like on the call or in the community at the moment?
Well, be sure that for every customer that 32110 rule is being implemented. One way to apply that as a service provider is offering a backup as a service solution like we did. But as a customer, if you don't have a solution, go to a local service provider or Veeam partner which can assist you in that matter. Don't think it's going away. You have to implement that rule. It's very important.
Yeah.
You want to protect your data. And in the community, you can talk much about that.
Always be a little bit paranoid when it comes to backup.
Absolutely.
Working in security, you become paranoid. If you want it or not, you will be.
I think the Americans have this saying, one is none, two is one. And that redundancy, that paranoia that things will go wrong, and you have to have a plan for when things go wrong. You have to really accept that and live it. Right? Yeah.
And any insights you gained, DJ, in working with the project you have been closely attached to?
Actually, the biggest insight maybe is that Linux isn't as scary as you think for Windows people. So that's one. And secondly, the benefits you gain from the immutability just as a say peace of mind makes a lot of difference. And the fact that the backup is the entire backup fabric is protected, and it's that paranoia almost again, but it really gives you an ease of mind. I mean, in the last couple of years, I mean, perfection is not of this world, but you realize that you have a very solid plan to get the business going again when all chips are down.
Yeah, talking about plans, do you have any future plans for this project? Any upcoming features within the Veeam software, for instance, or expansions you were particularly excited about?
Well, with the new versions of VBR, we've seen nice, let's say, improvements in the hardened repo, which are of course always welcome. The fact that you don't have to enable the sudo anymore to do the updates, stuff like that, that's also always nice to have. But the biggest thing that we are looking for in the future is adding to that, because now it was highly focused on our own data centers, our own locations. But we are looking at adding cloud storage or working with a service provider like Nico is offering, to see where we can mix and match the two, right? So you have your own local backups that are hardened, that are secured, but you still want to offload them because you don't have the second, let's say, location anymore. So one doesn't exclude the other, and they can mix and match to make the perfect solution. I think Nico probably has customers with very different needs, and they have to cater to all of them. So whether you have Veeam on premises or not, whether you just want them to take care of everything, I think there's a lot of permutations to the same principle that can make it work for many, many people in many different scenarios. And we're looking out to expanding that a bit with, let's say, off third-party solutions to make sure that we can deliver that principle to every internal customer we have.
Yeah, great. Nico, any future plans you have for your project?
Yes, of course, we want to onboard as many customers as possible. And a way to do that is that we are going to white label the solution for smaller partners in Belgium that do not have the technical knowledge or the experience to implement that, or not having the financial budget to implement such a solution. We want to offer one of the biggest backup as a service solutions in Belgium, but especially delivering the best backup as a service solution using Veeam Cloud Connect. That's the future.
Yeah, we certainly have the basis for that. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yes.
Thanks.
Guys, we're already coming on the half watermark there. Before we conclude, is there anything else you would like to share with the audience about the importance of community involvement, or how they can contribute to and benefit from the project? DJ?
Well, don't be shy. And if you think about it, just do it. Because I waited maybe way too long to start becoming active in the community, even though it has been a while since I've started doing that. And also, I mean, don't feel like you have to prove something or like you have to be the absolute best expert in whatever you want to share. There's people of all levels, and I mean, when you put your own work out there, there's always this risk that there will be some people that say, "Oh, this is crap," or "This is too simple." Really, everybody should know this already. There's always people like that, but never mind them. Be one of the people that shares, that contributes, that helps out at whatever level you are, and start doing that. It's a lot better than being a critical, let's say, commentator on the sidelines who never helps anybody. So yeah, don't be afraid to put yourself out there. It's okay.
Totally true there. Totally true. Nico, anything from your side?
More or less the same as what Didier is saying, but in other words, don't be afraid to ask questions in the community or post your own topics and experience regarding Veeam. We are helping each other and are learning from each other. The goal is to implement Veeam functionalities in the best way to secure the data of the customers, and the best experts around the world are a member of the community. So don't be shy. Just do it.
Yeah, that's perfect. Guys, I want to thank you so much for sharing your experience now online in this show, but also in the community.veeam.com in the hub. I see so many people reaching out to you, and also that you are responding to them. I also get feedback towards me about you. That's really positive and really great, because people really feel heard, especially also DJ for the whole hardened repository. People just are like, oh, hold on, and that blog is like 3 years old, but it's still relevant. And also Nico jumping in on those questions on the community hub there. People really like that. Sometimes they don't tell it. Normally they will do it at a show, but we're normally living in that virtual space over there. So that's really good. I want to thank all the audience for tuning in, of course. This is number 6 in the Veeam 100 show. There will be more coming up, but we also have one big show coming up. That's the Veeam On. It will be not in May this year, but it will be early June. It will be in Fort Lauderdale. It will be the 10th one this year, so I'm already like excited for that one. I will be there. Hopefully, DJ, Nico, both will also be there, but mostly you as an audience, please tune in, or virtual or live. And if you're live, please come and say hi to us if you bump into us. We're also keen to share our knowledge, have a chat, have a beer, have some fries. And for that, I would like to thank everyone. Also, the technical guys and girls behind the scenes. Thank you very much. And I must say, till next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.